Good morning, afternoon, evening, night. Depends on where you're watching from. My name is Juliet. Welcome to Juliet's Journeys. I keep forgetting to introduce myself, but it's okay. It's called Juliet's Journeys, so I'm Juliet. That's my name anyway. So, you ready for some stories? It's gonna be some good ones. I'll start by saying that I touched on it, I think, a little bit in one of my previous videos. So I grew up in a very toxic, unhealthy environment. It always gets so hot when I'm recording. I don't know why. It's the hot seat. So, a little bit of background. I need to tell a little bit of story for background for you to understand, but know that that's not where I live. I'm not a story. So, I don't know if I'm getting this aligned right. Anyway, I grew up in a very toxic environment with my childhood. My dad was a very violent drunk. Not always. He was always a drunk, but he wasn't always violent. My mom had a lot of mental illness, and I think that dad was quite intimidating and psychologically, emotionally, and mentally violent. He was physically violent with us children a lot. But that kind of set the stage to how I would allow men to treat me in all my relationships up until this point in my life right now. And I'm telling you this because I recently ended a 17-year relationship, married for almost 10 years. We were 5 months short of 10 years being married, which really doesn't matter, it's just part of the story. In that relationship, I played the role of mother, maid, cook, cleaner, IT person, landscaper, mother. It was just, I played every role, the feminine and the masculine. I still paid half for everything and took on everything. And again, I can't blame. I choose not to, and this is why. Because of the way I was raised and so effectively trained, and the cognitive belief and the religious belief and all the dogma of everything of how part of this is generational too. For example, I'm a Gen Xer. We raised ourselves, and those of us that were girls at the time or young ladies, we also took care of the neighborhood kids, our cousins, our siblings, if we were the older one of them. And sometimes that's not even true. They could have been older than us and we were still looking out for them. That really set the stage for my generation of both masculine and feminine, because it let the masculine be unhealed and lazy. Not everyone. I can't speak for everyone, and I'm only speaking of my experiences. This may not even resonate with you, and that's okay. It doesn't have to. Every time I come on here and tell a story or a history or a situation or a belief or anything metaphysical, spiritual, esoteric, is simply my belief. And there are people out there that are going to resonate with this. This is who this is for. My soul family, my tribe, so to speak. So knowing that everything I got, I allowed, I created in my world. I'm not a victim of anything. I tell you this all the time. It's like a divine design that brings us to the point of our awakening our awareness, our consciousness. At least that's how it's been for me. So what I wanted to touch on specifically today was I was having my hairstylist. I don't get to see her very often. It's like a special treat when I do, because she's just an incredibly smart young woman when it comes to hair design and styles. Anyway, while the hair color was sitting on the hair follicles trying to absorb on the molecular level, there was music playing. They always have music playing, and it's usually really good upbeat music, but this song came on and it was country. Not really my genre, but it's okay, because this song hit, and it hit deep, to the point where I had to grab my phone and Google the lyrics I was hearing so I could find out what the name of the song was and who was the artist singing it. And come to find out, I wrote it down. I've listened to it about 10 times since. It was called Love Somebody by Morgan Wallen. Beautiful lyrics. Basically, he's like looking for a healthy love. And it hit me because I was thinking, every relationship that I have had, everyone has failed. And there's one common denominator in all of it, and that's me. Again, that's when it brought me to the question of why. What is it about me? That's when my healing journey started. And it was an incredible journey. It started like December, like this specific situation that happened on Christmas Eve in 2023. I started doing writing therapy, I guess they call it. I don't know. I just love to write. I've always loved to write. I've always journaled, and I've always had diaries. It's just was my outlet. It still is. But this was the beginning. This was December, the end of December, beginning of January. So it was 2023, 2024, and something shifted within me. At that moment, I knew that that marriage was done. I was done. And I wasn't going to allow myself to continue to be abused. And when I say allow, I was really allowing it, because I was setting the stage to be the cook, the cleaner, the mother, the maid, and all these other things. And like I said in a previous video, I chose men that were emotionally unavailable, that put me in a position to feel vulnerable, invisible, and vulnerable, I mean unsafe. Not like emotional vulnerability, that like what I'm doing right now, sharing this. Right? I'm talking unsafe. I was never safe in that marriage. I never felt safe emotionally, psychologically, or physically. I'm not implying anything. I want to make that clear. Let's just leave that there and go back to this song. So I hear this song and it's with me for a couple days and it won't leave, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna write this out. I need to write this out because it's hitting something within me. So this is what the question was. How am I to look at all the crap shit I feel about the toxic, abusive relationship with my exes? Okay, that's the mindset. You know the mindset I'm talking about. We get that feeling like, oh, okay, obviously anger needs to be processed through. Not anger at them, more anger at myself for allowing it. But then too, it's like I did the best I knew. So whatever, I'm not a victim. This was the question that came back to me. So I asked, how am I to look at all the crap shit that I feel about the toxic, abusive relationships with all my exes? And then when I went into the peace and the quiet, I was like, the question came, what lessons did you learn from all your exes? I made a list. First of all, I learned that I have power. Then I learned not to give my power away. I learned that we are all equals, all of us. and that it's a team effort or it fails. This is all relationships. There has to be some kind of reciprocation. It can't just go one way or it doesn't work. It's okay to be, it's okay for me to be, like, to tap into that gentle feminine side of myself, right? It's okay to do that, but it's also okay to tap into the masculine side, because when you're a solo female or a solo male, you have to tap, it's important to tap into both sides, I think. Because we are both. It's about balancing the masculine and the feminine. That's within us, not the gender. We'll go there a little bit later. Okay, so the other thing I learned is that I am worthy of more than just the lies that I've been conditioned to believe by society and my parents, the way I was raised, by the church, all of it. I'm more than that. I'm worthy. And all that dogma, those lies aren't true. Those aren't my belief systems. And when you shift those belief systems, your life changes. Okay, that I learned that sex is not love, and it's also not always intimate, not for everyone. Sometimes it's just a physical act. So if you're in this relationship and for you it's like an intimacy, and for them it's sex, you will be left feeling lacking. It's not fulfilling. So that's just something to be aware of. If you want to go more into that in the comments, we can do that. But swipe right, swipe left. I mean, that's all those are, right? Just hookups. Do people really get established relationships? Well, maybe some do. I guess I don't know. I'm not on those kind of apps. I'm just going what I saw on TV, which, they don't lie on TV, right? So anyway, I also learned that I was none of us were put on this earth to be responsible for our partner, not to be their cook, their cleaner, their mother, their maid, their therapist, to be used for anything that they need while they sit and do nothing. And then I remembered this scene. There's this, it's not a movie, it's like a series called The Chicken Sisters, I believe. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched enough to where, and I don't even know all their names, but apparently there's this mother and the older daughter. The older daughter stayed in the town that she grew up in, but she married a man that no one in her family approved of, so her mom kind of disowned her. So she went to work at the restaurant for her mother-in-law. That was her husband's family business, I guess. And you would see this woman raising, I think she had at least a daughter. I'm not sure how many kids, but she was raising her daughter, and she was working this full-time job at this restaurant for her mother-in-law. And she was doing all the household chores, like the laundry, the cooking. I mean, every bit of responsibility fell on her, while her husband sat in front of the TV with a beer. That was kind of my life. So that kind of hit, and I was like, I allowed that. Not all people, but some people will, they're takers. They will take everything you give, and they're not going to point it out to you, especially if they're benefiting from it. It's our responsibility, I think, at least for me, that I'm very aware of what I allow and what I don't allow. And when I see red and yellow flags now, it's going to be researched. The yellow flags are going to be checked, and the red flags are going to be like, we're done. Okay, because there is not a whole lot of shit that I'm going to tolerate. So why am I telling you that? Because when you are in a place where you become healed enough, and those red flags that you used to ignore and make excuses for, we stop. There comes a point where we stop doing that when you get into that healed space. And I think that's important, because I'm not just on this YouTube channel for shits and giggles. I mean, it can be that. I'm here because I've had a lot of life experiences, and some were excruciatingly painful. And when you get to the other, I'm talking like cults. Abusive relationships. When you get to the other side, it's, I don't know, my heart space just opened up. And I really wanted to share. There is light at the end of that tunnel, but you have to go through the tunnel. Anytime you try to go over, under, and around, it's just like the shoving down of the feelings. It's not healing. It's avoiding. I've done that for years. Trust me, I've been on this earth a long time. I'm not going to tell you how long. But, yeah. I cannot heal anyone, but I want everyone healed. When we look at the people that we say have hurt us or caused us harm, maybe that's true on some level. They were my best teachers. It doesn't justify it. It doesn't make the abuses okay. But they were my greatest teachers. It was the most painful lessons. But it taught me contrast. It taught me what I don't want in a lot of situations. And it taught me that I am responsible. I'm responsible for my life. I'm responsible for my healing, my emotions, the way I act, the way I present myself, the way I am in the world. I'm responsible for all that. This is my world. And yours is yours. And sometimes we're blessed to have our paths cross. Sometimes it's comfortable, sometimes it's not. That's okay too. Because we are each other's mirror. You will hear me say that a lot. So, to Morgan Wallen, with the lovely words of Love Somebody. I get it, buddy. I'm right there with you. When you're healed or healing or at a certain level of healing, there's things you won't settle for because you know your worth. You know your worth, you have self-love, and you have self-respect. And I cannot say that there's a whole bunch of people on earth that are in that spot because this work is hard. It's painful and it's difficult. So we'll save that for another video. Leave your comments below. Like and subscribe so I can get this out there if it resonates with you. If not, that's okay too. All right, as always, I'm holding a space of love for you.